Hello, everybody. This is Scott Dudley from FFR080, and today my special guest is Will Robbins, who's based in Arkansas, and he's the president of a couple of marketing agencies, Sharpen.com and also ContentHow.com. Thanks for being on the show, Will. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Sure, man. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. So let's go back to the beginning and start off with your background and how you first got into marketing and funnels.
Yeah, I had a small distribution business where we were growing CPG products from Arkansas. Arkansas is where Walmart's based. And so my dream and goal was to bring products in that were unique and that the market really loved. And then I would take those and try to broker those into Walmart. In order to get clients for that business, I learned SEO, organic outreach. I started learning Google ads and different things for that. And basically from right there, I fell in love with the marketing of the online more than I fell in love. And I love products, I love branding, and I love marketing, and retail was dying. So I moved over, I wrote some blogs, fell into content marketing for some time there. That was a weird phase of life because content marketing is kind of tough. But then we got into performance-driven media. I blogged for ClickFunnels. I did some stuff with Duck Commander, and then I was part of a group and they had me do the SEO for a product called Manscaped. And that became very cool. I learned a ton from everybody around me. And when I exited there in May, I decided I was going to help a lot more small business service providers, as well as CPG companies, do the organic outreach, do paid media, et cetera. And that's really where this is kind of being built from.
Nice. Okay. So if we sort of fast forward to the present, can you tell me a little bit about your agencies, Content How and Sharpened, and sort of what you offer with those?
Yeah, 100%. So on Content How, it's mostly focused around content, blogging, SEO, organic outreach, and everything from Reddit and growth marketing in that phase, built around that content marketing engine that people love. Whereas Sharpened is more focused on funnels and for lack of a better term, a CMO that's remote, or a fractal CMO type of position. So we're really working with startups as well as CPG companies, service-based companies with Sharpen, really building out something that's sustainable for growth, whereas Content How is more for someone that already has an internal marketing team and they just need someone for content, blogs, SEO, really that one service, whereas Sharpen is more around what's your numbers, how are you going to get hit budget, and helping drive growth.
Yeah, so they're sort of completely different sorts of things, aren't they? Even though they have similarities in some ways.
And sometimes it can get hard to explain why one is different than the other, because we all know it, but when you're talking to a client, they're like, no, hang on a minute. You what? Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right, so including yourself, how many team members do you have?
Oh, wow. We've got 4 really internal full-time, and then we have, and those would be what I would say is at the executive level. Well, I guess it's up to 5 now because we just put in a new salesperson / coach. And then remote / assistant / builders, graphics, et cetera. Probably 13 total, so 18 total.
Oh, okay, so it's a fairly large team then.
I would say the 13 are very project based. And so we utilize them a lot of the time, but they also, if we're not utilizing that service, or if we're building something different and they're just not being utilized, they're wide open they have other people that they work with as well.
Okay. All right. So you've already sort of touched on this a bit, I guess, but who's your ideal customer niche or target market?
Yeah, we've got really 2, service-based business that wants to understand how to go from, I have a thing that I'm selling it monthly and I feel good about my delivery of my product. And I don't know how to run a marketing machine, or I don't know how to get appointments. And those can be service-based businesses, which is typically it falls in that line. And then our other channel is any type of SaaS CPG startup that wants to take, here's my budget, and I want to know what I should deploy in order to match ROAS, CAC, LTV, et cetera.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So with Sharpened, what sort of funnels are you building there? Like, are they lead funnels, challenge funnels, webinar funnels? What are the main types of funnels that you're building for your clients?
Yeah, we kind of customized a little bit of a process to go from lead gen to appointment setting. I did that During all of this run of Content How, one of the businesses that we had at the time was a lead generation business just for, I guess, again, service-based contractors, solar, roofer, et cetera. And so we took the same lead gen technology that we understood, from outreach to dedicated Facebook ads to dedicated, just that whole gamut. And I basically bought it over here in Sharpen, deployed it. We use that for lead generation. And then we just have a system for booking appointments. That's the funnel that we probably specialize the most in, is that service-based business, lead gen to appointment, with some lead magnet. You can get into vertical service. You can do a lot around that, but that one sculpting is where we start. And then within the 2 months or 3 months that we first engage with them, we understand their market a lot more. So we build it customizable to them.
All right. And is there optimization services included in that as well, sort of for an ongoing relationship?
The first 60 to 90 days are all about hitting a budget. So the budget being, what do they need to have output going? Once they get to that, to retain and sustain there, that is the biggest, that's our bread and butter of how we keep growing. Is everybody loves what we do. We make them money. We know our job is to make them money. And we have to stay consistent and play with whatever the market does, whether it be the election and they need to move more towards organic and Google ads. The election's gone. Now they really want to hit Facebook. There's a storm over here in this part of the state. They need someone that'll deploy Facebook ads or whatever ads needed to get out in front of that first. So that's the majority of our business's retention. We can only pick up a couple of clients a month on the funnel build side anymore, just because we have that whole remote CMO program that we're rolling out. Okay,
makes sense. All right, so tell us about one of your most successful marketing campaigns and why you believed it performed so well.
Oh, wow. Most successful. That's a good question. So I guess if you judge success on ROAS, I took a beauty brand, and we ran. Well, let me start with the reason it was so successful is really when I understood what I was so good at, and that was I went and interviewed 100 in-market people, and I asked them just a real series of questions. And the first 10 were real general questions, and I just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And these are phone interviews, and through that, I grew a mom's focused product, because I am on NDA, a mom's focused product. We went from basically, we fired their marketing team, and then within 90 days, we were doing 150K MRR.
Oh, geez, that's nice.
Yeah, it was 150K budget, and it took a lot of 14-hour days, but we nailed the market. We nailed the messaging, the market, and the product. Because the product was okay, we actually helped them find another person to source the product from to improve the product during that process. But it was all about message to market. And once we got it, it was, we were getting days on 13 ROAS, and you just couldn't, the comments feeded themselves in the ads. And that really, knowing the market at that level, and then having a real customer success team built around those customers feeling like they could call and talk to someone about the product, not just buy a product online. That's the way I build everything now. It was all because of that. That was like less than a year ago.
Did it take you long to get that message to market correct? Was it a bit of trial and error, or did you get that pretty early on?
No, we had a good direction to point.
Yeah.
Because they already had a product that was real focused on what they thought the target was. They had a handful of collection of products, and we ran some rapid fire ads to really understand which ones would. Yeah. Once we did that, we took that one product and we put all their other products around it as a bundle. And I went, here's our, everybody hush, this is our market right here. Don't talk about anything else. There's a target. And they all thought I was crazy at the time. But again, I was running as somewhat of a CMO. And once you're spending, when you've got investors, especially, once they see a return on ad spend and they understand a CAC and they can see an LTV that's working on subscription, they're just singing your praises.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you that the first 45 days of doing that, you've got to be a strong enough personality to withstand some challenge. Because
the client.
Because what they believe, because here's the number one thing I hear, because that is what I do the best, and that's what we've really focused on Sharpen. Find the audience, dial the messaging just to a degree where they know that you're talking to them when you talk to them, and then just hone in and really target it. But every client that comes in, they always tell me, I don't really like that paid media ad stuff. I really want to move to organic because I believe that works better. And me being organic marketing director at a large startup was great. So I attract that person. But when they see when they understand the ROAS and that the spend is all manageable and they can actually see, like it takes, but that first 45 days before all that's really locked in and rolling, it's a challenge. There's a lot of butting heads. That's probably the hardest part of that same. So what is my biggest success versus what I've also learned is like, you've got to be willing to just hold your ground and know you're right. And that takes some backbone and guts. And also some nights it takes some meditation is what I'll call it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Absolutely. All right. So what are your favorite online tools and platforms that you use to run your business?
I've kind of moved, like there's two layers there, right? So me as a president, agency owner, I've moved into ClickUp really a lot lately. I like Trello, I like boards, I like Sheets, and I could always say Google Sheets, but here lately Trello, and there's a YouTube guy called Tom Solid, and he teaches like productivity. He's an architect and he builds out like how each thing goes to that and how to have a productivity system. And I'm a marketer, but I've never seen someone build like how they post YouTube videos in ClickUp with like deployment of which EA is going to do this, which graphic designer is going to do that. So when he records an episode, all he has to do is upload one thing and all the team is working on it. So I've really been living there lately, moving into a president. Before president, I mean, for me, it's Facebook because I can go in Messenger and in a few groups and in a few ads, and I can tell you anything about anybody.
Yeah. Okay. So what's ClickUp? Is that a page builder? Is it? I've heard of it, but I'm not sure exactly what it is.
No, it's actually, so like Asana, Trello, it's more of a productivity manager that has.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. That plus Google Docs, I think you're 90% there with about anything you want to do if you've got a good process.
Interesting. Cool. All right. So what are some of the biggest and most common mistakes that you see your clients making?
I just talked about that one. Everyone thinks that they're going to grow fast and big and wide, and this is going to be amazing because they think PR, I guess, is one of the biggest, like call it PR, organic, whatever that thing is, where they think if they got enough people talking about it, but they don't understand that. So like, that's what they think. And the break there is really, you can get everybody to see something, but the people that buy is because of conversion. And that's a call to action. And you can only do that through paid media. I mean, there's just not a better way to deploy that.
Yeah, nice and fast. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we've already talked about client expectations. But other than that, what's the biggest challenge you consistently have to face while running your agency?
Job versus business. It's like my job as a copywriter or my job as.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm really good at marketing, and being an agency owner or president and running the CMO type program. I do so much more in like I said, Sheets and ClickUp. It frustrates me to no end to be sitting there in Google Sheets all day, making sure that budgets and teams and what needs to be done is aligning, and then pushing that into and learning a project manager and how they work instead of over here actually in Facebook writing the ad copy. So like the job of doing marketing versus the business of running a marketing. Yeah, that's my biggest challenge, and probably will be forever, right?
Yeah, that's
I love marketing.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people answer when I ask them that. It's sort of like the Michael Gerber thing where you should be working on your business instead of in your business. So, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because I still, fairly small agency. I still have a job within the agency of understanding, like, because I have to sign off that we know the audience. I have to sign off that the copy's good, and I have to sign off on design before it goes to the client. And I'm really slow to release that job. I do have another person that I trust. I always go to him and ask him, and if he gives me a thumbs up, I already have to still scan it. But it's really different, that job versus working on the business. That's a really tough one mentally.
Maybe eventually you'll palm that off to somebody else to do those QA checks, or do you think that's not going to happen?
I want it to. I really do want to. I want to do it now. I just, I'm not built that way, like naturally, to be that I don't know what you call that, CEO type of just, I don't have enough trust, I guess is really the bottom line. I feel like if my finger's not on it, it's not good enough or something.
Yeah, you want to make 100% sure that everything's good. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So with an eye to the future, what are you curious about or researching right now regarding digital marketing or funnels in general?
Well, two things. One is, what ad platform is going to come next?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of talk around Facebook, but if anyone, like I just think of myself and knowing how much money I've spent in Facebook and seen some budgets, where or who is going to deploy something that's at that massive of a level with that much data to be tracked? Because Pinterest is one that if they would just get their ad product built, they've got the same kind of data.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So who are your marketing idols or the biggest influences on your career?
Oh, wow. Look, Paul Tran and Ryan Fiore from Manscaped are at the top of my list, no matter, because I got to learn with them direct. Ben Acott from Manscaped and Joey Kavac from Manscaped, just because I worked with them direct. If you move past that, I love listening to Russell Brunson.
Yep.
Love listening to him. Motivationally wise, I mean, you just strategy wise, top of the game.
Yep.
Noah Kagan would be the exact opposite of a Russell Brunson. And so I love listening to like Noah, Tim Ferriss. He's more Tim Ferriss, where it's real outcome driven, minimal path to success. Yeah. And so I like getting all spectrums.
Yeah.
I like understanding the guy that looks at a spreadsheet and he sends one email to see what it does, like really, really data driven. But I also like listening to the guy that's giving you this whole song and dance and theory about how beautiful it could be and how wonderful, and like getting you jazzed up. But yeah, I would say that I listen to probably 2 audio books a week from marketing on Audible.
So you're more of a,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
No, yeah, I was going to say it's really hard to pick one off the top of my head, honestly.
Yeah.
The latest one, right? But back when I read, I would say that there was also like some of the greatest. Gary Halbert, you can't beat. Just going back to just his what was it even called when he was in jail and he was writing to his son?
Yeah, the Boron letters. Yeah, I've read that.
Boron, that's the
Yeah.
Like it's hard to beat that just because it really gets you to the basics of converting people to a buy.
Yeah, and the fact that he was like writing that to his son from jail too, that's sort of an interesting slant on learning the information as well. You're in the son's shoes as you're reading it. So yeah, it's interesting.
Very interesting. And he does a great job of not giving you the fancy word that'll sell you a book.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, and I mean, his intention when writing that wasn't even to sell a book, was it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think I appreciate it for that fact because he's actually talking more about when he talked about the hamburger stand thing, and he said, you don't need people that are everybody said, well, I'm going to do a free burger or a fry or a this or that. He said, everybody tells you that. What you need is a starving audience.
Yeah.
And that was like that buyer intent, right? That was I go back to that that moment in that book where it hit me like how things just hit you and pop off the page.
Absolutely.
That's probably the one that got me the most. That one, and there was a habit book, and I'll send you that so you can put it in the show notes. But it was all about creating. It was like ClickWord or something like that. It was a really perpetual habit machine. It was really great for subscriptions. The understanding of that.
Okay, so you're more of a listener than a reader, are you?
I used to not be. I think that my schedule has adapted me to that way because I can put in AirPods and listen to stuff and still work.
Yeah, that's the benefit. You can multitask with the listening to it. Just for me though, I don't comprehend the information as much if I'm not reading it, but I guess everybody's different with that.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I think I've adapted to listening because whenever I was driving a distribution route, I was literally taking snack cakes and putting them in stores. That was part of what I did. So I listened to, I don't know, 12 hours a day for however many years that was. I
Yeah.
listened to something on the radio and it just turned into either something meditation or productivity or building yourself up, personal growth or whatever that's called. And then all of a sudden it took this really hard turn to like marketing. Everything was marketing, and so I got my MBA driving around in a little van and a little bread truck there.
Nice, love it. All right, so just to wrap up, where can people go to find out more about your services and or your products?
Yeah, I mean, we are sharpend.com, sharpnd.com. And that will be the best place because that's where we're doing the most funnels. Or you can reach out to contenthow.com if you're looking for SEO or organic or content blog post type style.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for sharing those insights. Really appreciate your time, William. Thanks for that.
Good. Awesome.
Okay.
Man. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.